This is one of the worst baseball games of all time. Roger Clemens MVP Baseball on the NES barely counts as a baseball game. It's clearly not a finished product. It's an awful game to play. It's no fun at all. Everything about this game is horrible. And yet I somehow managed to convince myself to actually play through an entire 9-inning game. Now, you know already, Roger Clemens MVP Baseball is an LJN game. Because it's an LJN game, we already know that it's horrible, it's garbage, and we shouldn't even touch it, right? But this game is still particularly bad even for an LJN game. I mean, the half hour I spent on this was just pure torture. This game manages to do everything wrong, so let's go through the list. Okay, first off comes the pitcher-batter matchup. So when you're hitting, you'll face mostly fastballs. These balls come in so quickly that you have to swing the moment the pitcher throws the ball. The problem is that the changeups are considerably slower. There are also curveballs, but you'll never be able to see where the ball is going before you have to swing to protect against the fastballs. So there's this feature in this game where you push select and you're supposed to get advice from Roger Clemens himself, right? So I gave it a try. Maybe he can tell me what I'm doing wrong. Nope, all that he says is to try to figure out the difference between each pitch. The problem, of course, is that you're given no time at all to react. And it's hard to distinguish one pitch from another because of how stupidly large the stupid sprites are. Look, in a game like RBI Baseball, it's easy to follow the ball from the pitcher's hand to the bat. Dusty Diamond does the same thing. Baseball Stars works the same way. I could go down the list of great 8-bit baseball games and you'll notice the same thing every single time. This game makes hitting a chore and it's not fun at all. It's a lot like Bo Jackson baseball in that sense. I find myself randomly swinging at anything, hoping that something good will happen. And pitching in this game, pitching is just awful. I mean, it's horrible. And how do you do it? How can you get pitching wrong in a Roger Clemens game? Okay, according to the manual, pitching works the same way as it does in any other baseball game. However, if you want to throw a fastball, you have to jam down the down button all the way and hold it. The same goes for a changeup. You have to really hold down the up button to get it to work. And I can't figure out a way to throw a curveball that only breaks slightly. I think you can curve it a little bit right before it reaches the plate, but I've had mixed results trying that. Pitching in this game is awkward, and I wound up just throwing a bunch of meatballs right down the middle. But as you already know, I've only been tiptoeing around the big issue here, and you know what that is. Fielding. Oh man, you're not even ready for this, right? The fielding in this game is just ridiculously bad. It's insane. It's impossible. You don't even know. The game positions you behind your fielder. It's kind of like Bases Loaded 3 and 4 if you remember those games, except of course it's a lot worse. You see, there are two fielding screens, one for the infield and one for the outfield. If a ball gets through the infield, you'll end up with your outfielder going the wrong way since you were trying to get your infielder to go that way. And throwing to the bases is totally backwards. Actually, it's more than backwards. It's broken. It's really broken. I can't figure it out. According to the manual, the only buttons that are mixed up from what you're used to are home and second base. In reality, everything is different from what you're used to. After screwing around a bit, I discovered that the catcher has to push up to throw to second, but the second baseman has to push up to throw home. You can also run around and do whatever you want. This is how you can explore the full screen area that the game gives you. The runners don't care, and the umpires and the fans and the other players are happy to wait for you to finish your jog. Now, if there's a close play at a base, good luck to you. You've got to get the tag down, you've got to guess the position right or something like that, and if you don't, he's safe even if the ball beats him. Yeah. I didn't realize this at first, and it's a really stupid mechanic when you get down to it. You're supposed to push a button to tag down to tag the runner out. Sometimes this comes in handy when you're running the bases and the throw has clearly beaten you. Again, according to the manual, you're supposed to be able to slide to the inside or outside of the bag or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking here. It doesn't matter what the manual says, of course. The game just does whatever it feels like doing. Anyway, this has got to be one of the worst mechanics in the history of baseball video games. Like, I don't know, think about this in real life, right? Do you think in real life the baseball player has no idea which direction the runner's going to slide, so he just makes a wild guess? No, that's not the way it works, right? Why wouldn't the fielder, look at him, right, once he has the ball in his glove? And the thing is that if you watch enough games from like the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, stuff that I do a lot of, you'll know that back then the umpires would usually make the call based on whether the throw beat the runner or not on whether the tag technically took place before his foot touched the bag, right? That sort of thing is like a replay era type thing that we care about for some stupid reason. Anyway, enough of that rant. In this game, this is just ridiculous. It's horrible. So if there's some sort of miracle and you somehow manage to stop a ground ball in the infield, you'll only get one guy out. It is impossible to get a double play. Like, I would love to see anybody who can actually do it in this game. It's just too slow for that. The other funny thing is that the ball arrives almost instantaneously at the base when you throw it in from the outfield. It's almost like the programmers made a demo of the game that was accidentally released as the finished product. And then you've got base running, which is just, again, I can't figure it out. I don't know which button to push. Is there something wrong with me? I don't know. Some things are easy, like stealing a base. It's mostly the same as in any other baseball game. But I simply do not know how to run back to the base that I was just at. Again, the manual tells you what is supposed to happen in theory, but it's got nothing to do with what really happens. I usually wind up just mashing the A button in random directions to try to get my guy to go back. And that stuff's really bad, right? But there are things in this game that are even worse than that. Like, it's unbelievable. So, for example, when you're fielding, the A button jumps. But the problem is that A also throws. So it's pretty common to jump instead of throwing, especially since the game sometimes reads the A button as a jump after you fielded the ball. Fortunately, the AI is too stupid to try to advance an extra base on you. I'm also honestly not sure how to even attempt a pickoff throw. So the manual says you push B in the control pad, but when I try it, it never works. I wasn't able to attempt a single pickoff play despite allowing well over 60 base runners. Now, there is one good thing about this game, and I really need to tell you about this because it's kind of the saving grace. The names of the players. Seriously, in this game, the fake names that they came up with are just gold. They're awesome. So, of course, we had Roger Clemens, right? But we also had a guy named Jearden in the bullpen. I guess that's Jeff Reardon. Our leadoff hitter's name was Wader, probably Wade Boggs. And Jack Clark is named Clack. The Mariners have a right fielder named Janer. There's also a center fielder named Kenny. Guess who that is? Oakland has a star reliever named Denecker. And Oakland has two guys named Bash and a leadoff hitter named Speed. Just like I said, the only good thing about this game are those names. I'm serious. Every other aspect of this game is fundamentally broken, but at least the names are good, which is better than a certain other Major League Baseball game on the NES that only used numbers. Remember that one? Everything else about this game is just horrible. I mean, this is like, the haunted house of NES baseball games. But of course, the bigger question is whether this actually is the worst baseball game on the NES or not. All right, I've already beaten up a lot of Major League Baseball, which is another horrible LJN game. Major League Baseball features unhittable fastballs. This game does as well, though in Roger Clemens, the pitchers never seem to get tired. However, in Roger Clemens, the computer pitchers do occasionally throw you curveballs. That will never happen in Major League Baseball. The computer can only throw the ball in a straight line. All right, they both suck, okay? They're awful. But I've got to say that when it comes to the computer pitching, Major League Baseball by LJN is worse than Roger Clemens MVP Baseball, as crazy as that sounds. Fielding is better in Major League Baseball, however, that is clear. It's still awful, but at least you aren't disoriented. Fielding in Roger Clemens MVP Baseball is an absolute nightmare. Half the time I don't know where to throw the ball. You never know where a fly ball is going to land. Playing in the field is just a nightmare. Seriously, I would rather go back and play the Sesame Street ABC 1-2-3 game that my baby sister had when we first got her NES back in 1989. I'm not even joking, right? Like, at least I had a chance of beating that game. However, my beef with Major League Baseball is that the ball dies in the outfield for no reason. The physics in that game are completely screwed up. Now, Roger Clemens isn't great, but the ball does what you think it's going to do. Throwing in Roger Clemens is just as bad as in Major League Baseball, though. But in the end, the physics of Major League Baseball just feel worse to me. So both these games are horrible. They're just awful. They shouldn't exist, right? But I honestly have to say that Major League Baseball is actually slightly worse. And I'm here to tell you that these are the two worst 8-bit baseball games out there, period. No questions asked. I mean, I played freaking Exciting Baseball, on the Famicom Disk System. I did a video about that game. That game is bad. That game is atrocious. That game is not even close to as bad as Roger Clemens MVP Baseball. I mean, these games are horrible, just absolutely horrible. I have a hard time even imagining how you could have baseball games that are somehow worse than these two. LJN was a trash company that made some awful games, and they should feel bad. Anyone who worked for that company should be feeling bad about the job that they did. Roger Clemens MVP Baseball is an experience so bad you won't want to wish it even on your worst enemy. Playing this game should count as torture under the Geneva Convention. Even the cute player names will piss you off after you've played this game for about 10 minutes. And there's no 10-run rule, which means your game will go on forever. I wish I had never played this game. Anyway, so there you have it. Honestly, seriously, I hope you didn't own this game when you were growing up, when you were a kid. If you did own it, I seriously feel bad for you, right? No parent in their right mind would give this game to a child, right? You might as well give the child like a firecracker or something instead, right? Because it's less dangerous, right? This game is awful. It destroys lives. It's horrible. It induces depression. It's an awful thing. And just like other abominations from that time, like the 1990 Topps baseball cards, I would just love to gather up all the existing copies of this game and destroy them one by one.